Hi everyone, my name is Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to share with you one of the techniques that I taught my club recently, and it's called sponging on designer series paper or daubing on designer series paper, or basically coloring your designer series paper. Now you can do this with markers, sponges, sponge daubers. Today I'm going to use sponge daubers and create this gorgeous sympathy card. And so that's the inside, and here we have the outside. This technique depends on you using some designer series paper that's done in either black and gray and white or vanilla. And one of those designer series paper is called Timeless Elegance in our annual catalog. And it has a kind of gray and black look to it. And so as you go through the designer series paper, you can see how adding a little bit of color would be fairly easy and quick to do. And so this is the paper. These are some coordinating sheets back here. And it would also look good. I mean, this one is Happy Haunting from our holiday catalog. I think it'd be kind of fun if you were sending a Halloween card to one of your grandchildren or a niece or a nephew. This would be fun to maybe color some of the ghosts different colors, you know, some pink ones and blue ones and green ones and purple ones. I mean to try a card like that down the road. I just think it would be fun. And then of course there's our black and white everyday chic paper. So this also is something that you could add color to and have something that looks completely different maybe than what the paper looks like originally, just by adding a little bit of color. So today I'm going to add the color first, and I have a sheet of scrap paper that I'm putting down. And then this particular piece of paper from our Timeless Elegance paper pack is cut at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And that will be layered up on the card, so that's why there's some kind of strange measurements there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some little bits of green. Now I would like to color the leaves green, but there's not very many leaves on this particular one, so I won't be using the green very long. But I dab it onto the ink pad, and this particular green is Wild Wasabi. But you know what? I don't want Wild Wasabi. I grabbed the wrong ink pad, so excuse me. I'm going to burnish out this color, and I'd rather use Pear Pizzazz. The reason I'd rather use Pear Pizzazz is because this is a vanilla sheet of paper, and I think the vanilla has just a touch of yellow to it. So by using the Pear Pizzazz, which has a little bit of a yellow undertone, I think it's going to look better with the paper. So back to square one. So I dab off the paper a little bit, and then I bring it in. I dab off on scrap paper, and then I bring it into my designer series paper so I don't get such a big clump. And then I'm going to put some green down here. And like I said, there's not a lot of green that I'm going to be putting. Every piece of designer series paper is going to be a little bit different depending on its design. And so I have a lot of flowers in this one, so I think I'm just going to have to give the green a rest here, maybe just a little bit through here. Just some idea that there's green in the background is maybe all I need. All right, so that is it for the green. Now I'm going to add some Blushing Bride, and that, oops, oh my gosh, I'm just having a day here. I just took my green and plunked it right into my Blushing Bride. So what do you do when that happens? You're going to grab a Kleenex, and you're going to just push the Kleenex onto that spot until you get it all dabbed off. I've kind of got a lot going on today, so I have a lot on my mind, so maybe I'm not totally with it, but maybe that's to your advantage so you can see how I work through my mistakes. So I've got one more Kleenex here. I'm going to dab that away. And now I think I've pretty much pulled all the green out that I just accidentally dabbed onto my ink pad. So back to the drawing board. Here is a dauber that has pink in it, and I'm just going to dab that all around. All right, now I can just take a little of the excess off and start coloring my roses. Actually, I don't think I need to take excess off because this is not a very well inked pad, so I'm not getting a lot of excess. So I'm just coming in and I'm just doing small swirls onto the rose like this. Oh, that's so pretty. It's just so elegant and vintage looking. So I'm going to do this rose up here. And because there's already so much color in the roses, they still, I mean, a lot of the grays and stuff, they still look really vintagey. Oh, I wonder if that was a leaf. No, I think that is a petal. Well, actually, I think that was a leaf. I'm going to go back in with my green because I'm kind of hurting for green. Well, now I should probably make sure I have all of the pink off of here. And I think I do. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of green in here because that sort of looks like a leaf. There we go. I don't know. It was hard to tell with that one. All right, so let us continue on with the roses. And we're going to add some color to this one down here. All right, so I've put all the color in the pink that I want to on this particular sheet. And now I think for something different, I'm going to add a little yellow to these flowers up here in the corner. So I have what is this? So Saffron. And I'm just going to ink up a dauber. And, well, that's pretty strong. So when I have an ink pad that's really well inked, I like to daub it off to the side before I go onto my main panel here. So I'm just going to add some soft So Saffron to some of these flowers here in the background. Maybe a little bit right in there. There we go. And then I'm not really doing anything with some of these flowers. And then there's some background there that I'm just leaving as vanilla. And I think this is done. So I'm going to set all my ink pads aside. And now we're going to go ahead and assemble the card. So to assemble the card, we are going to need a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch blushing bride paper. That's our cardstock. And before I actually adhere this panel to this, I need to make a couple of punches. So I'm going to punch out once and twice. And the punch size is a 1 3/8 inch circle punch. Because this is a matte panel, you're not going to see it. So I'm going to flip that over and we are going to put our card onto that panel. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue and add a little bit of glue to the back, and then we'll set this on the panel. And the reason I really want to use glue is because I've got a 1/8 inch line all around, so it's nice to have the glue just so that we can wiggle it around and get it just perfectly placed. Then before we put this onto the front of our card, we're going to want to add a strip of ribbon. So I have this is some basic black satin ribbon from Stampin' Up. And I usually have my ribbon scissors, but it's nowhere to be found at the moment. It's probably in with all the swaps that I'm doing for Founder's Circle. So I am going to just, I think I better grab my sentiment so I know exactly where to put that ribbon. So the sentiment on the outside is from the stamp set that is called Petite Pears, and it looks like this. And because I'm making it a sympathy card, I'm sending sympathy and prayers on the outside, and then on the inside it says to heal your heart. So I'm just going to take some Stays on Black ink, going to ink up my sentiment, and then I'm going to take that to the Big Shot machine and I'm going to run it through with a Project Life panel, or a Project Life framelit. So let me show you what that looks like. Here are the Project Life framelits, and the one that's missing is the one that I'm using on my card, which looks like this. So I ran it through, I used the magnetic platform, my cutting plate, and then I just took some scrap, and I have my sentiment on there, and that is going to go on the front of my card. And I'm going to take one of these 1 3/8 inch circles that I punched out, add a little bit of snail to the center of it, and then center that sentiment right on there, like so. Then I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals. We're going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. And I'm not going to take the peelies off yet because I want to make sure I've got this where I want it. And I think right about there looks really good. All right, so I know that's where I need to wrap my ribbon. The ribbon position may differ a little bit if you're using the Timeless Elegance paper, depending where the flowers are on that particular panel that you're using. But for this one, it's going to end up looking a lot like my beginning card. So now I'm just going to take off the peelies, and then we can set this right in. And the front of our card is almost complete. I just want to add a couple of candy dots right here. So here are all my leftover candy dots in my neutrals. I just keep them in one of these stamp cases. Oops, flip it over so I see what colors I've got. And I've got a couple black ones right here on this strip. So I'm going to grab my paper piercing tool, and I can just lift those up and put them right where I want them on my card. And here's another one. Just like so. So now the front of our card is complete. So we can go ahead and put this on our base card. And the base card is a panel of basic black cut at 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2. Then I'm just folding that in half, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to glue this right onto the front panel of our card. Set it right in there, and I'm going to bring my scrap back because I can't see black on black where my borders are. So now I can kind of wiggle that panel into place just perfectly. So there we go. So the front of our card is complete. It's a really nice sympathy card. And then on the inside panel, we're going to add a piece of 4 and 5 1/4 inch Very Vanilla. And then we're going to add to that a 3/4 by 4 inch piece of the Timeless Elegance paper. So we can set this right in here like so. And then we'll just go ahead and add this to our panel with a little bit of snail. We'll set that right in perfectly. And now for the inside, I'm just going to put this Blushing Bride circle right here. We're going to take another scrap of Very Vanilla, and then using our Stays On ink, I'm just going to stamp the sentiment right here for our inside panel to heal your heart. Then we're going to take the punch, the 1 1/4 inch punch, and punch out this sentiment. Gets a little bit of snail, and that just gets set right on top of that Blushing Bride circle on the inside panel of our card. And our card is complete, so let me show you what the original looks like. Here's the original. I had a lot more open space in the original, so you see a lot more of the vanilla. And I didn't have any of those big flowers in the background, so I was just pretty much doing roses and leaves. But in this one, I had a lot of open flowers, so I went ahead and added some So Saffron, so that's a little bit more colored, but I think it's just as beautiful. So here are the two cards. Thank you so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. If you need a demonstrator, please be sure to stop by at www.stampingtoshare.com. I have links there to place orders, and I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.